the elite are going to, I believe, use the Hegelian dialectic of the collapsing dollar and as the thesis of their Hegelian dialectic, use the gold standard as the antithesis of that, meaning that when the paper currencies are going to collapse, they're going to roll out, oh, we should go back onto the gold standard where, bring honest money into the system. Meanwhile, it's another monopoly currency that the bankers and the same guys that have destroyed the paper monetary system, they're going to control that game too. And I think the synthesis solution that they're going to roll out is a digital-backed gold currency, whether it's 2018 or whenever it is, and they're immediately going to start rehypothecating and fudging that. So I think that the solution is always in the opposite consciousness. If the world is suffering from intangible, perception-based values of the dollar and the stock market and the bonds and derivatives and all these other things that are built up on this perception of debt and value and stuff like that, then you have to stick with real stuff. If the problem is a monopoly currency like the dollar, another gold standard is probably even the only thing worse than an unbacked fiat system. In fact, I went through the whole time period right after the Civil War is one of the worst times to be alive when they demonetized silver and got rid of all the greenbacks, and the United States was suffering for 10 years under the gold standard. But at the end of the day, I think that the future after the collapse, not before, after the collapse, is going to be local. It's going to be local currencies. It's going to be gold, silver, copper, commodity currencies, backed currencies, faith-based currencies, based where there's accountability and local. I don't see global solutions. I don't see one big shot as being the future. I think that the elite would love to have it, but I think that they're going to overplay their hand this time, and humanity will have the opportunity of doing something different.
So what is so bad about a gold standard, in your opinion? Because I know that a lot of people in the precious metal community would say that a gold standard is the solution.
No. A gold standard, at least what they did back after the Civil War, back then the United States really had three forms of currency. Lincoln had their greenbacks, which were unbacked, debt-free treasury notes, meaning that literally the treasury could just print hundreds upon millions of dollars and decree them as fiat money. And they were unlike the debt-based Federal Reserve notes where the Treasury has to go beg well, not really beg, but show up with a bond for $1 billion, and the Treasury or the Fed will credit the Treasury's account $1 billion, and the Treasury would have to pay off that bond plus interest, which is what the bankers love because that just makes them come back for more and more. So a one less step, I guess, would be Bill Still's answer of just letting the government print without going to the bankers. But like Brother John said, all that would do is just allow them to, spend willy-nilly and not have any recourse there. But what the bankers did was they progressively took out the greenbacks. They had, I forget what it was called, a repatriation or a retraction act or something that sucked up all the greenbacks that were freely circulating in the United States. Within 2 years, they had gotten rid of 70% of the greenbacks that were in circulation. And then, as many silver investors know, the crime of 1873, the people's money was outlawed. I mean, majority of the people that were transacting in the world did so with silver dollars, and that was the basis for the farming community and most of the people. No one used gold except for the bankers and the high finance guys. And when they outlawed silver in the currency, what did that do? That left one form of debt or one form of money out there to pay off all the debts. So it destroyed the monetary value of silver because there was no more monetary value on it, and it certainly didn't have the 10,000 uses that it has now, and forced people to dump their silver to bid up gold to pay off the debts that they owed to the bankers. So the bankers owned both sides of the game now and had a complete monopoly on the debt that they levered out during good times, and then changed the rules of the game, destroyed the economy, and said, oh, if you still want to hold on to your farm that's been in your family for your entire life, you need gold. And the people had to go bid up the gold, and the bankers owned the gold. And, of course, when you go to buy the gold from the bankers, then you do what? You go off to pay off the debts, and it goes right back into the bankers again. So anything monopoly, anything single currency, anything, where there's one choice, will be controlled by the most powerful and ruthless men, and we'll all get screwed. So that's why I said the opposite consciousness solution is competition in currency. I wouldn't even want a silver standard. I wouldn't even want a bimetallic standard. I would want as many different kinds of currencies after the dollar collapse, because anything formed before is just going to get wiped out with everything else. But after the collapse, I want to come up with a bunch of different kinds of currencies and let the people decide.